Okay, welcome you all once again for day 4 session on advanced data analysis using spreadsheet faculty development program. So today the topic is data modeling with Power Pivot. Okay, so first I'm going to take you through some lecture, small lecture, and then we'll go with the practical part. Not a PowerPoint, we'll do it in the PPT only one slide on PowerPoint. So Power Pivot is an add-in function. I hope you have you have installed the add-in and activated Power Pivot. This is primarily used to do data modeling and to do advanced data analysis. What is a data model? It's just a collection of different tables with a lot of relationships. Now, when I show you the example, you'll understand what do I mean by relationships and collection of tables. But as of now, you understand a collection of tables with relationships is a data model. Okay. So the data that you work on in Excel and in the Power Pivot will be stored in an analytical database temporarily, and in a separate platform we can do a lot of analysis, and we can do a lot of visualization, and it's going to be similar to the pivot table but a little bit advanced than the pivot table. So pivot table we already discussed in our first day 1, so it's going to be similar to that, but it's going to be a little bit at the advanced level. Okay, so now we can open the data sheet for the day 4, the Power Pivot data sheet. Okay, so this is similar to the sales table that we discussed, that we used for the session 1 on day 1. Okay, so it's similar to that, but here you will see some difference. Okay, but we don't have to do anything. I'm just explaining the data sheet here. This data sheet has 4 tables. The first table is related to sales transaction, and the second table has a product ledger. It has the details of the product codes, and then it has the uh, cost of the product, selling price of the product name. Okay, all those information in the second table. The third table, it has the countries, the market regions are given over there. In the fourth table, it has the customer details, the customer identity number, the customer name, and the customer country. So what's the difference? In day 1, you use the table which is literally big, like you had a couple of columns. The columns went up to U, okay, alphabet U, column U. So in a you have a column, different a number of columns. It means your table is going to be very complicated. So in database, in data analysis, data management, they don't store data like this in huge number of columns. What they'll try to do is they'll try to simplify the table, and they'll put it like this: sales transaction in one table, product details in another table, country details, geographical details in one table, customer details in another table. So we have 4 tables: sales transaction table, product table, country table, customer table. So like this, what they'll do is this is just a small example. Okay? In real time, it will be much more bigger. So you will have multiple, they'll simplify the complex table into small tables. Now look at this, the product table is comparatively very small. Okay, it has 13 rows only. In database management, what do they do is they call this as a process called normalization. They break down the complex table into a smaller and simplified table. So when you deal with huge amount of data, okay, the table will not come like this. Okay, the table will be normalized. You get small tables. You will get small tables, and you need to know how to handle such a data. So that's why we go for the Power Pivot. For a small data set, we will not go for Power Pivot. A simple pivot table will be more than enough. When we will use Power Pivot is when you have a big data, complex, huge volumes of data. Only at that time we use the Power Pivot. It works same as the pivot table what we discussed in day 1, but this is at a little advanced level. When we would use is when you have a large volume of data, only then you will go for Power Pivot. So it is simple like this. Say for example, you have a birthday party. You will not book a big marriage hall for a birthday party. You will have it in your home, or you will have a completely smaller hall. When you have a wedding, you have, say for example, 500 families are invited. 500 into 3, 1,500 people will be coming. You need a very big hall. You need to have a big dining hall. You need to have a good parking facility, toilet facility. A lot of things you need to plan for. So when the complexity comes, when the volume is big, the complexity of management becomes big. The same as that, when you have a small data set, pivot table is very beautiful, fantastic, it will work, no issues. But when you have a big data set, more than the pivot table, the power pivot, the powered version of pivot, or the power pivot is much more superior to the pivot table. Okay, so that's what we are going to see. In a big data scenario, what I'm trying to say is the table will not come with a huge number of columns. The tables will be normalized and split up into smaller tables like this. Now, what is the logic over there? Now, this first table, the sales table, is this is sales transaction table. Okay, sales transaction table. Now, in the first, when we learned about the pivot table, I told you about a concept called as primary key. Okay, primary key is something which will uniquely identify a particular record in a table. What do you mean by record? Every row in a table is a record. Okay, so any row can be uniquely identified with the help of the primary ID, primary key. In this table, the primary key is the sales ID. Okay, so the sales ID or something you get it as transaction ID, right? So this sales ID with which I can uniquely identify a particular sales transaction. Okay, now this particular transaction is done by this particular customer and he has purchased this particular product through this particular channel and he has ordered 117 units. So with the help of sales ID, I'm able to identify a particular record. So this is a primary key. Okay. Now what they do is they normalize, they simplify the table, okay, based on this primary key. Now in this product table, which is the primary key? We have the product ID as the primary key. Now this product ID can uniquely identify the attributes of this particular product. What is the cost of this product? Available here. What is the selling price of the product? Available here. What is the name of the product? Available here. Okay. So all the attributes of this particular product is uniquely identified with the help of this primary key called product ID. So in the country table, the country name is used as the primary key. In the customer base table, similarly, the customer ID is used as the primary key. So a customer can be uniquely identified with the help of the customer ID. A customer cannot be uniquely identified with the help of the sales ID, but a customer can be uniquely identified with the help of the customer ID. So based on this primary ID concept, they split the tables into small tables. This process we call it as normalization. Now here, if you look at the transaction table, if you come to sales table, the first table, in the first table, this I told you sales ID is the primary key. Now we have three qualifiers which will qualify a field as a primary key. What are those? It should not have a zero. It should not have a blank value. Okay, it should have a unique value. That should not be duplicates. If it meets these three conditions, it becomes a primary. Sales ID meets all those three, fine. Will customer ID meet all these things? Yes, of course. Customer ID is also going to be unique. There cannot be any duplicates and there cannot be blank zero. Can product ID be a primary key? Yes, of course. Now in that case, can we say that there are three primary key in a table? No, because in database management, a table can have only one primary key. But there are other two keys which also qualifies to be a primary key. Can we call it as a primary key? No, because customer ID is already a primary key in customer base. And the product ID is already a primary key in product base. Right? So we cannot call this as a primary key here. So then what do they call this? They call this as a foreign key. So when you have a field which is qualified to be a primary key, but it is not a primary key, in that case we call this a foreign key. So this particular sales table has two foreign keys. Okay, so one primary key and two foreign key. So with the help of primary key and foreign key, we can link the tables. Okay, suppose if I have to find out what is the name of this customer, okay, so what the system will do is, system goes to the sales ID, finds out the customer ID, and goes to the customer base, matches this particular customer ID, finds out, okay, this is customer Levy, and he is from Congo. Okay, so who has done this particular transaction 0002? System will go to this particular record, picks up the customer ID, goes to the customer table, matches this customer ID, picks this value. Don't you think that it is done through a VLOOKUP kind of a structure or index and match kind of a structure? Yes, of course. Now, in order to get rid of this index, match, and VLOOKUP, we are using the pivot tables. But now here the problem is we have four tables. Pivot table we used it in day one because everything was there in a single table and we introduced 3-4 pivot tables on a single table. The data sheet was same. But here we have 4 different tables. Okay, 4 different tables. Okay, so without connecting these 4 tables, now we cannot use a pivot table efficiently over here. For that reason, we use the power pivot. For that reason, we use the power pivot. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to link all these 4 tables together with the help of primary key and the foreign keys. Once the link is set, what do we call that? The linked data table, what do we call that? We call this database. We call this relational database. So once you link all the tables with a relationship, and then we can do that. When we ask the system who is the customer who done the sales transaction, it will go to the sales table, pick the sales ID, it will go to the customer, it will pick the customer ID from the sales table, go to the customer base, matches the customer ID with the customer table, picks the name and give it to us. It is possible. Okay. So how are we going to link all these 4 tables with the help of these primary and secondary keys? For that reason, we use power pivot. Okay, we use the power pivot. Okay, so highly a database kind of a concept, but we'll try to understand. Okay, this is the advanced level of the pivot tables. So now we can start doing it. You click inside the sales table anywhere. You click inside the sales table anywhere. So first of all, before we insert the power pivot, what we need to do is we need to define the tables. We need to define each and every table. Now you have a table here. We know that this is a table. Will Excel know that this is a table? Excel will not know this as a table because we didn't define that as a table. So how do we define it for Excel as a table is, first you click inside anywhere inside the table, and then you need to press Control button plus T. T for table. Control plus T. Okay, Control plus T. The moment you give, you can see the entire table is selected. You get a small dialog box. We call it as Create Table dialog box. Look at that first line. Where is the data table? The data table is selected. We have almost 1000 rows there. And next you have something called as My Table is Headers. My table has headers. That you need to ensure that there's a tick mark. What are we telling Excel here is, do not consider the first row. The first row has the header, okay, the column names. Do not consider. Instead, take it as the headers. Don't consider the data values. Instead, consider the first row as the header. That's what we are telling here. So, if you do not give the tick mark here, Excel will take everything as the data values. It will not treat it as a column header. Okay. So ensure that there is a tick mark here. My table has. Ensure that there is a tick mark, and then okay. The moment you give okay, you can see that the color everything changes. The color everything changes, and then this is being defined as a table. Now we need to give a name for this for our understanding. For our understanding, we need to give a name for this. For that, now you can see in the menu bar, you see it says table tools. The table tools appear because we are inside the table. Okay, the table tools has two menus: analyze and design. You click on design. Click on design. You come to the ribbon. In the first group, it says properties. In that you have table name. Okay, under table name there is one box which says table 1. Just click inside once. Left click inside that box table which is written as table 1. Just left click. Now it will be highlighted. Now we can edit it. I'm going to give the name as sales. I'm going to give the name as we'll give it as say F underscore sale. We'll give it as F underscore sales. Okay. F for Finland. Okay, F for Finland. F for fish. F underscore sales. And just press enter. Just press enter. So now what we have done is we have told Excel that this particular sheet has a table which has a name called F underscore sales. Okay. Why do we call this as F? F is in database terms, this particular table is called as a fact table, fact. Okay, or a transaction table. This says here this table has all the sales transaction. Hence we call this a transaction table, or we call this a fact table. Fact are nothing but raw data. Okay, so it is called a fact table. So I am using the alphabet F over there, F underscore sales. Okay, now What are the other tables? We call them as dimension tables. We call it as dimension tables. It will not have the raw data of the transaction. It will have the dimensions. Hence, they are called dimension tables. So here also we should name all the four tables. So click inside the table, the product ledger, anywhere inside the product ledger, and then we should do Control plus T, Control plus T, and ensure that there's a tick mark over here against my table has headers. Ensure that there is a tick mark. Press OK, and then what you should do, go to the design menu, and then come to the properties group, the table name, click inside once, give the name as D underscore products, D underscore products, and then press enter. Press enter just once. Okay, so this table is defined. Go to the next country grouping. Go to the next table country grouping. Click inside anywhere inside the data table, and then you press Control T, and then ensure that see there is no tick mark over there by default. Okay, there is no tick mark. Ensure that there is a tick mark here. My table has headers, and then you give OK. Go to the table tools, click on the design menu, go to the table name, click inside, change the name as B underscore say country, B underscore country or location, whatever you want you can give. Okay, press enter, and then go to the fourth sheet, click inside the table, Control T, ensure that there's a tick mark against the header option, click OK, go to the table tools, click on design, go to the table name, give the name as D underscore customer, D underscore customer, and then press enter. Okay, so now we are given names and we have defined tables for Excel. Okay, so all the four tables are defined. Okay, so now you come to the first table, the sales data. Okay, first sheet. Come to the first sheet which says sales data. Come to the first sheet. Okay, and then you go to the Power Pivot menu in the menu bar. Go to the Power Pivot menu in the menu bar. Okay, so we are just entering into Power Pivot. Okay, we are just entering into Power Pivot. Hope all are on the same page. What do you do? Click inside the table, and then you go and click on Power Pivot. In the Power Pivot menu, okay, there is a section called as tables. There is a section called as tables. We have data model, calculation, slicer alignment, tables. In the tables, there's an option called add to data model. Add to data model. Okay, just click on data model. Just click on data model. Okay, just click on data model. Okay, so click inside the table and then go to the Power Pivot menu and then click on add data model. Click on add data model. The moment you click on add data model, what you would observe is there's a new window which opens. Okay, it's a new window which opens. It's a new environment. This is the Power Pivot. This is a Power Pivot environment, and what you would see is that particular sheet, the F underscore sales. That particular sheet gets added to this particular Power Pivot platform. Okay, so what you see here, look at the down the status bar, it says F underscore sales. There's a chain is available over. Chain signifies that it is a related table. It is going to be a related table. So we have brought the sales table here. Like this, you bring all the four tables to this environment. Okay, so you go back to the other sheet. You can press Alt and Tab, and you can go to the other sheet. Alt and Tab, you can go to the other sheet. Click on the product ledger. Click inside product ledger table. Okay, on the Power Pivot menu, click on Add to Data Model, and you will see the product table also comes back here. Click on Alt plus Tab button. You can go to the Excel sheet. Click on the country grouping. Click inside the table once. Go to the Power Pivot menu. Click on Add to Data Model. You get the third table in the Power Pivot environment. Then once again go and bring the fourth table, customer base, customer table. Click inside Add to Data Model. Okay. So now we have all the four tables in the Power Pivot environment. So we have four tables. This is the fact table, and we have 3 dimension table. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to build the data model. Okay, we need to do the data model. Why we are doing this is we can use the power, we can use the pivot table when these data are connected. Okay, suppose if I ask you who is the customer of this particular transaction, now you pivot will not be able to tell you. Okay, pivot will not be able to tell you. So first I need to use a VLOOKUP to bring the customer names here. Only then the pivot will tell which customer and how much is done. Okay, so we are trying to create a data model with 4 different tables, and then only we'll go with the pivot table. Okay, so we need to create the data model. Data model I defined in the PPT. It's a collection of tables with a relationship. Okay, so how do you do that? Is we are going to build the relationship between the table. How do you do that? Is in the menu bar, okay, in the menu bar in this environment, we have 4 menus here. We have the home menu. In the home menu, come to this group which has view. Come to the view. And in that, the second option which says diagram view. You see the diagram view. So click on the diagram view. Click on the diagram view. And then we get into the diagram view. The diagram view, okay. So we have the f underscore c's, which is the fact table, and putting it in the center, and putting the product table to the side. Okay. Then I will bring the customer table here over here, and I'll put the country table to the further right. Okay. So here we have the different tables. Now we'll bring back the concepts of primary and foreign key. Okay. Now in this table, product ID is the primary key. In this table, product ID is the foreign key, whereas the sales ID is the primary key. So in the customer table, customer ID is the primary key, whereas in the fact table, sales ID is the primary key and customer ID is the foreign key. So what we are going to do is, if I ask you in this particular sales table, looking at a particular sales ID, if I ask you who is the customer, you will not be able to give an answer because this table does not have the customer name. The customer name is available in this table, dimension table called customer. So what I need to do from here, I need to look at the customer table and fetch the customer name. Okay, I need to look at the first customer table and fetch the name. Hence, the customer table is called the lookup table. Okay, the customer table is called the lookup table here in this case. So what I need to do is click on the left click on the customer in the sales table, left click and hold your mouse down, left click and hold your mouse down. Keep dragging your mouse pointer, keep dragging your mouse pointer, bring it to the customer table, bring it to the customer table, bring it over the customer ID on the customer table, okay, bring it over the customer ID on the customer table. So we are looking from the sales table, we are looking the customer table. So the arrow should move from customer ID in sales table to the customer ID in the customer table and then release. And then release your mouse. Okay, and then release your mouse. Okay, so this is one relationship. Another relationship is the product ID in the product table and the product ID in the sales table. Okay. Suppose if I ask you what is the name of the product that is being purchased through the sales ID, you won't be able to tell because the product name is not available in this fact table. The product name is available in the product table. Or if I ask you the product price, you won't be able to tell me because the product price is on this table. So what I need to do is I need to look up the product table from this fact table. So I need to move my mouse over product ID. Please mute all the participants. Okay, I need to go to the product ID in the fact table, sales table. Okay, with your left button in the mouse, click it, hold it down. Okay, click and hold the product ID down, and then keep dragging it. You will get the same arrow kind of a thing. Go to the product table till you reach the product ID, and then you release your mouse. You will get the arrow over there. Okay, you get the arrow. So I'm linking the customer ID of the customer table to the sales table. I'm also linking the product ID, which is the primary key product table, to the sales table. And then we have the customer country, which is the customer table, which is the primary key over here. So go to the customer country. From customer country, I'm going to look at the customer table. So go to the customer country, left click on customer country, hold the mouse down, drag it until you reach the customer country in the customer table, and then release. So we have just built the data model. So we have interlinked the tables with the relationship. Okay. Now we can do our analysis. Okay. So Now you can click on the pivot table here. Okay, we'll see a pivot table button is there. You can click on the pivot table. Okay, you can click on the pivot table. And then it says our regular create pivot table dialog box appears. It says new worksheet of existing worksheet. You can give it as new worksheet itself. Click on OK. Now what will do is from pivot table worksheet, it will go to the Excel worksheet. Okay, it goes to the Excel worksheet and creates the pivot table for us. Okay. Now here we can create the pivot table as how we did it. But the difference is, okay, look at the pivot table fields. Look at the pivot table fields. In the earlier pivot table, we had only one table, but now here we have all 4 tables. Now what I can do is I can pick items from anywhere. Okay, I can pick items from anywhere. Okay, say for example, from country I take markets. From country I can take markets. From sales table I can pick units sold. I can pick units sold as a measure. I can put it in values. Okay. The sales table did not have the countries and markets. Countries were there in the country table. Sales unit sold was there in the sales table. Okay, but I am able to pick one item from here, and I am able to pick another item from another table, and then I can create one unique pivot table. And this is called relational databases. And now we are able to work with multiple tables, and you can work with any of tables like this, and you can do some advanced. You can dive deep into the data and find out where exactly is the problem. You can create dashboards like how we created last time, colorful. You can make it, and you can create a lot of things over there. Okay. Now before we proceed, okay, go back to the Power Pivot screen. Now are you able to see the Power Pivot screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you go in the ribbon. We are in the diagram view. We are in the diagram view. Now we go to the ribbon and click on the data view in the ribbon. Okay. Click on the data view. Click on the data view. Okay. So we are in the data view. So come to the sales table, the first table, F underscore sales table, the first table. Okay. So now I'll show you how to use formulas here. Now in pivot table, the difference between pivot table and Power Pivot is one difference is this. We can pull data from multiple tables. Second difference is we can use some formulas here, do some calculations. The third advantage is you don't have to use VLOOKUPs here or index and match here, which probably you might feel complicated. We can use simple formulas here. Okay, these formulas are similar to Excel formulas, but a little bit difference is there. These formulas which are used in Power Pivot are called as DAX formulas, DAX, data analysis expressions. They're not called as formulae, they're called as data analysis expressions. Okay, data analysis expressions. The way we enter the formula itself is a little different compared to the other one. Okay, so in Excel, what do? We can use a formula in a single sheet. We cannot use multiple data from different sheets and create a any formula. Okay, even for that in multiple different Excel files also we cannot do that. Okay, different Excel sheets we can do that, but different Excel files we can't do that. But here we can bring every sheet into a data model, and then even if it is in different data files, we can use the formula. Okay, this is called data analysis expression. So here I am going to create a something called as a calculated column. It is called as calculated column. I'm going to create a calculation in a column. I'm going to create a calculation in the column, similar to entering a formula. Okay, so first on the right side you see add column in our fact table. F under sales, you see a column says add table. Double click on the add column. Double click on that add column, and then rename it as sales underscore revenue. Sales underscore revenue. Why we are doing that is we have number of units sold in this fact table. We have the selling price in the product table, but we don't have the sales revenue. We need to calculate that. Okay, so how do we do that is, so first I created the column. Now go to the first cell. Okay, now go to the first cell. Same as that, type equal to. You will not see the equal to in the cell, but look at the formula bar. Look at the formula bar above the table. There you see the equal to. So in Power Pivot, we will be working on the formula bar rather than working on the cell. So here we'll type equal to. Okay. So what is that? Selling price into units sold. Where is selling price? Now, before you type here, now we are going to use data from related tables. So before you type the formula, You need to type related. You need to type related. You type REL, you will get that. A double click on that, you will get related. Okay. This is the format. Related, open bracket, related, and then open bracket. And where is the selling price? It is there in the product table. Okay. So move your mouse, click on the dimension table, product dimension table. Click on the product table. Okay. Where is selling price? It is there in the third column. Move your mouse. Okay. Move to the header. The arrow will turn into an inverted arrow, black arrow. Click on that. Okay. Look at the formula bar. It says related. Okay. Open bracket. D product, which is the table name, and then rectangle bracket, which says standard price. Okay. Then close the bracket. Close the bracket. Okay. Close the bracket. Okay. And then multiplication symbol, asterisk symbol, multiplication symbol. And then where is the unit sold? Unit sold is available in the same table. So no need to use again related again. Okay. So click on the unit sold. Move your mouse at the top of the header of the unit table of the fact table. And then click on unit sold. Click on units sold. Okay. And then just press enter. Just press enter. Okay. What do you observe? We enter the formula in the only one cell. We did not use any copy. We just pressed enter, but there are some thousand rows here. Power Pivot automatically computed all the sales for us. Okay, all the sales for us. Now we'll compute the expenses. Okay, so go to again. We'll create one more column. We'll create one more column. Rename the column as expenses. Rename the column as expenses. Enter. Okay, enter. Okay. In the first column, in the first cell, we'll enter the formula equal to, how do you calculate expenses? Number of units sold multiplied by unit cost price. Okay. So again, we need to start with related. Again, we need to start with related. Where is the unit cost price? That is there in the dimension, product dimension table. Move your mouse, click on the product dimension table, and click on the standard cost price column. Click on the standard cost price column. Close the bracket. Close the bracket, use the multiplication symbol, and then you need to click on the unit sold. Click on unit sold, and then press enter. Okay, and then press enter. You get all the expenses being computed. Okay, all the expenses being computed. Now in the last column, once again, we'll add a new column. And now we shall rename it as profits. We shall rename it as profits. Okay, profit. How do we compute? Yes, sales revenue minus expenses. Is sales revenue in another table? Is expenses in another table? No, both are in the same table. Now in this case, we need not use the word related because the data is in the same table. So directly we can use equal to sales revenue minus expenses. Then press enter. For all the 1000 rows, automatically the profits are computed. For all the 1000 rows, automatically the profits are computed. Now you go back to your Excel sheet, power pivot table, where you insert pivot table. No, go to the Excel sheet. Are you able to see in Excel?
Yes, sir.
So now you go to the Excel sheet where you have inserted the pivot table. Click inside the pivot table. Click inside the pivot table. Go to the pivot table fields. Go to the pivot table fields. Go to the F underscore sales. Okay, F underscore sales. Next to the F underscore sales, there is one triangle, and click on that. So all the field items under F table will be expanded. Now, if you look at this, we created 3 columns, right? Sales, revenue, expenses, and profits. Now you see all 3 are available in the table. Okay, so we did a calculation. Now it is available over here as well. Okay, so now you click and drag sales revenue to the values shelf. Click and drag sales revenue to the values shelf. Okay. Click and drag expense cell to the values shelf. Click and drag profits also to the value shelf. Click and drag expenses to the value shelf, and click and drag profits also to the value shelf. Okay. So all the 4 meshes we have put it in. All the 4 meshes we have put it in one table. All the 4 meshes we have put it in one table. Okay. So just click inside the pivot table. The toolbar, they have got pivot table tools. Go to design, and then different table styles are there. No? So I'm going to select this particular color. Okay. and then go to home menu, go to home menu, okay, go to home menu. Now select only this sum of units, okay, sum of units, no, units sold. Select only those column cells, okay. Go to conditional formatting, go to conditional formatting. Then you have something called data bars. There you have something called data bars, okay. In that, I'm going to click the blue color. I'm going to click the blue color. Okay. And then you come to the sales revenue. Select only the sales revenue values. Select only the sales revenue values. Okay. Go to the conditional formatting. Go to the conditional formatting. Go to data bars. I'm going to select the green color. I'm going to select the green color. Same we do it for sum of expenses. Okay. Go to the conditional formatting. Go to the data bars. I'm going to select the red color. Select the sum of profits. Go to the conditional formatting. Go to the data bars. I'm going to select the yellow color. Okay. So now our table has become colorful. So right click on sum of units sold. Right click on sum of units sold and go to sort. Sort from largest to smallest. Sort from largest to smallest. So in one table we are able to see the numbers, sales revenue, sum of expense, sum of profits. You know how to insert the slicer. You know how to insert the slicer. Say for example, I can click inside the pivot table, go to analyze, insert the slicer, click on insert slicer. Okay, now there's a difference. Insert slicer, there's active ones, and you have all. Click on all, click on all. You'll see all the 4 tables available. You can take any dimension over there to create the pivot, slices. So I'm going to take the product name as the from the product table as the slicer. Click OK. So now I have the product slicer here. Okay, so I have my product slicer here. Okay, so let me put it in yellow color. Okay. And let me remove the grid lines. So click outside the pivot table, go to view menu, go to view menu, remove the tick mark against grid lines. Remove the tick mark against grid lines. So our table looks clear. Now when you click on any product, you can get any details for you. Okay. So this is all about pivot table. Thank you for joining for the day 4 session.